To be or not to be?
It's short.
That's not all, though.
It's a competition. It's going to be really hard to judge.
It's without a doubt the most demanding piece of theatre I've ever had to do.
So you think you can act?
I just want to win. To be or not to be?
Ladies and gentlemen, curtain call, please.
Okay, it's go time.
5-minute call, guys. 5-minute call.
Welcome to Be or Not to Be, the showcase for the best, biggest and brightest of the Short and Sweet Festival, which is, of course, the largest short play festival in the entire world.
One stuff up and I might crack.
Horse manure!
And as long as the show goes on, then the rest of it doesn't really matter.
You little ripper! Uber, or grim ripper?
Trembling with anticipation.
Not on my watch. Not in my country.
We have got the hottest new talent in writing, directing and acting, and they have less than 10 minutes to present their masterpiece before this live audience and our handcrafted panel of experts made up of Georgie Parker from All Saints, top talent manager Mark Morrissey, and renowned actor Sasha Haller. In turn, they have just 10 weeks to separate the theatrical best from the theatrical also-ran.
We think Nicole Kidman is an icy bitch.
I'm slim and sexy.
I don't know whether you guys ever had a load of hay fall on you.
Kylie has a really interesting teaspoon collection. Oh, just wait here.
Already, our pool of talent has been whittled down to 10 finalist plays, all of whom are competing for a pool of prizes and exclusive industry incentives. So join us as we find out what makes them tick and what drives them to pursue the dream, what propels them to the bright lights of this business we call show business. Reign of Ruin, a love story between an American woman and a Japanese man, where the only thing that stands between them is the atomic bomb. For round three's finalists, the lead up to the big night was a case of major cultural clash in the aptly named play Reign of Ruin.
It is a collaborative thing. I'm not saying we're all directors, you're the director, but we're the ones performing it.
There's a sort of director who doesn't say, you're doing good, you're doing good. He didn't give them praise for what they were doing, saying, yes, you're doing a good job, and only realised that they were doing a good job if he didn't say anything bad.
There was blood rain from the radiation.
We can talk about Pearl Harbor.
Well, The Reign of Ruin, it's a love story based in contemporary times in Hiroshima. And an American Mexican woman falls in love with a Japanese man. And the only thing between them is the atom bomb.
Hello. After watching the plays themselves, talent agent Mark Morrissey and director of the Actors Centre Australia, Dean Carey, came in 1 week out from the gala final to give some critical professional feedback. Their words of wisdom could make all the difference.
I think this is a very ambitious piece. The content is so powerful, which has to be held and given its weight. And you've got 10 minutes to do it.
My comments are it feels very ponderous. It's not inviting me in. On a theatrical level, I want to experience the tragedy, and I'm not.
Yeah, so we need to work on the emotional journey.
It's about wanting more. You won't get more from this play. What you want, you have to search elsewhere.
And that's the joy about a festival like this. It's so many different voices of theatre, and we welcome them all.
With 1 week to take on board their advice, the director has to firstly get everyone on the same page.
I think Dean and Mark both raised some very important issues that I'd like to personally work on, which is the relationship between Kenji and Agnes, to really bring them into their world.
You can't have too many directors coming up with ideas.
Rather than having too many directors, I think it needs to be a group decision.
Group decision directing, doesn't work like that. The director has a vision. He casts according to the vision. He builds up things according to that vision.
My name is Sadashivam Rao. I come from India, and I'm a filmmaker and a theatre director too.
I think when I read the script, I found that this is actually a very well-written script. My challenges have been to work with a multicultural cast, to understand the sensibilities, but the biggest challenge was to make it more personal.
It's been quite a stressful week this week. And yeah, we need to now start rehearsing for the gala. It's got a big cast, 6 people, 6 actors, and I need this cup of coffee to get my strength to face them all. It's called Kushti. It's Indian wrestling. There's been quite a bit of wrestling which has been happening in our group, but some of the actors are just simply don't want to do what I request them to do, or try other means to subvert the whole rehearsal process. And I think as a director, my task is to see that there is one simple vision, and that vision, fortunately or unfortunately, should be mine.
All right. See ya later. Okay, bye. Hi, guys.
Sorry, got a bit late.
In preparation for the gala final, Sadashivam has to take his play from a small 100-seat theatre to a massive 700-seater, and the cast are feeling the pressure.
We don't know what NIDA has set up for us. Are they going to have the same entrance exits? Because I've got to go off stage and come on stage.
We will be uncomfortable because we want to know how wide and how much we can walk.
Before we get to the stage, let's not imagine the stage.
Hi, my name is Mayu Iwasaki. I'm from Japan, and I love theatre, especially acting and directing and design and everything about theatre. The most difficult thing is talking about culture with him. I think it is cultural clash, but now I really understand what he wants.
I think it's not easy to impose a vision on personalities, I mean, especially actors. She feels as if I'm pulling her back and then putting a stop to all her creative energies, and then she gets miffed and angry.
This is the initial model for Reign of Ruin for the Newtown Theatre, but I don't think it's work in a night parade theatre because it's so tiny.
At the end of the day, I think a director needs to have a vision, needs to know what he's doing, or she's doing what she's doing. And that's what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
This is my boyfriend, Rodney.
I guess she's not that impressed with the director.
But I realize you don't say anything when you think it's okay. Are we doing right, or what are you thinking about, or is it we need a time to talk and discuss sometime?
Yeah. Supposition number 1. American prisoners of war would have been brought to the intended target for slaughter.
You don't need to be louder, you need to be softer, but at the same time hard.
When Sadasha was trying to pull the performance back, I think maybe Sadasha didn't quite explain it clearly enough, or get his idea clearly across.
So should we just go through it once again? Yeah.
Just an extreme, as if you're talking to a very polite conversation.
Hi, I'm Haruna from Japan. I write a film review and also column for Japanese magazine. It's so difficult to work with Sadashivam. I don't know which way he really wants to go. We need to guess, and then suddenly he asks us to change. It's not really fun to go to rehearsal. It's so difficult for me. Oh, I feel so bad.
Quicker.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Michael Koenig. I'm a welder who acts, or an actor who welds. I'm like improv, acting, and especially Shakespeare.
We make air conditioning units for shopping centres. It's completely different from working in the theatre. It's more repetitive than creative working here. I do theatre to, well, have a change from this sort of work. I find that he's good to talk to, he will listen to you, and we have a lot more discussions about what the play is about and the different things we can bring into it.
The performance has to be, you have to be louder but convincing, you know? So that's what we'll have to talk about.
Well, the whole place is going to have to be larger and greater for the 700 seats. My name's Wayne Underwood, and about 5 years ago I decided that I would be a professional actor. We're going from a 100-seat theatre, and then we're going to a 700-seat theatre for the gala performance. So we were just sort of saying to them we need to sort of think about how we're going to have a much bigger space to fill.
Don't forget as well, we got away with it from in a smaller, intimate theatre. Of course it looked the most, powerful in that theatre.
It'll look more powerful also.
Would we have won if it was at night? It was a bigger space. And don't forget, it's such a large theatre. And are we reaching the back row?
Oh yes, we're reaching the back row.
And so we just wanted to talk to him about what his plans were and sort of how we were going to achieve that.
Technically, it's the director's vision, though. It's what you want the story to be.
What do you find? Why do you think so?
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
He was sort of saying, no, we're not changing it. We've got to, and she was saying, oh, but we're going to be in a much bigger stage. And so I think there was just that bit of a difference of opinion.
I just feel like I'm speaking up for what all of you guys tell me outside when you're not in front of Sadashivam, and as usual it's working against me when I say it in front of everyone. So I'm just simply saying what everyone else has stressed to me. So, you know, don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, is that true?
We've all had our difficulties with this piece. We need to agree, you know, as a group. It is a collaborative thing. I'm not saying we're all directors, you're the director, but we're the ones performing it. My name is Nastasia Jarlog and I am passionate about art, acting and being a raw vegan.
I would like him to take on board our ideas as well. I feel like many times it's been his way only and we just couldn't talk. I mean, I'm not too sure about his background in directing, but he certainly does at times like to play the class system of it, that he's the leader and he will, you know, we do what we're told.
To say I didn't agree with, say, wearing the kimono as a Western character in a Japanese play where she's the only person wearing it.
Probably. Yes.
There was a lot of argument about whether I should wear a kimono, but in the end I did. And also there were questions on how to actually direct this piece and not make it look too much like something out of Bollywood. He wanted to do like a tango at the end with all the ghosts, and I just was dead against it. I just didn't want to do it.
I don't think Nastasia is fully convinced of the kimono. Then there were other problems regarding the performance, which I think have not been resolved. So that has to take place.
There were those times where I felt that, no, he's already set in what he wants to do and we have to abide by it.
I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older. It doesn't really matter to me. At the same time, there is always some sort of conflict or, misunderstanding or, in any rehearsal process. I'm Shingo Isami. I'm originally from Japan and I've been living in Australia for 14 years. I came to Australia as a Japanese teacher first, but I studied acting and here I am.
Try it the way you want to try it, okay?
You don't feel
if you want to do it very high, just do whatever you wish. I just want to see it.
We didn't know what to do and all the actors get, I don't know, we feel pressured that, somehow we have to do something. We have to come up with something really, impressive or something and impress the director.
It makes me so frustrated.
I found it was interesting that one of the girls, Mayu, I guess employed as his assistant director because she's Japanese and she has more of an understanding of the culture.
I had to think about costume, setting, music, and associate director.
I know a lot of her ideas have been dismissed.
One day he really energetic, he really liked it, that's a good idea. The next day, I don't need it anymore. It's just hard to work with him. Maybe I'm not good enough to be associate director, and maybe staging and set design was not really good for him, so maybe I should quit. It's really painful.
I feel that I'm the only one who will stand up and say something about it.
So it's been this kind of tension right from the beginning with Nastasia. She's a very temperamental person. We've had a lot of, I would say, heated exchanges.
Sadashivam has not spoken to me since our little row the other day.
With 1 day to go until the gala final, Sadashivam has a small window of opportunity to get the technical aspects right and the strained relationships resolved.
Now, can you just do the lines?
Has anyone seen my skin? It was hanging off me like tattered clothes.
A little louder, you need to be a little louder. What's happening is that the actors have to project their voice. And I see that the whole performance has to be remodeled according to this space, which is huge. It's my God, it's like you're in an arena. Look guys, were you not projecting deliberately or what was the reason for that? I want to discuss exactly with them now about the projection. You need to speak a little louder. I think all of you need to speak a bit louder. It's just that there were spots in the middle when I could hear you all, but then, and I was sitting here. So you need to speak much louder.
But he told me whenever he sent the email to you, it's rejected.
I don't reject his emails. I definitely don't reject his emails. I thought he was getting into his little henchman and send me emails for him. So he's out the front on his own, is he? Having a bit of a... Okay, so I should go out and chat to him. Okay, eat some humble pie. I'm glad that I saw you because I just wanted to clear anything that's, I want to have a good show. I didn't block you in my email.
My server's creating problems, that's what I've been sending.
So can we get along?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is now our big getting along hug.
Okay, yeah.
Now we can relax and put on a good show.
The reconciliation with Anastasia. I like that because I think it came from our heart.
Disagreements resolved, it's now time to get ready to perform in front of an audience of 700 people, including the judges.
There's something fluttering more than a butterfly right now. I don't know what it is. Okay, it's go time.
Reign of Ruin, a small play about some big issues of love and the atomic bomb.
I'm blind when it comes to love. Twice divorced. But Kenji, he makes me curious. He makes me look.
Has anyone seen my sister? She's wandering around without her skin.
Has anyone seen my skin? It was hanging off me like tattered clothes.
We met by the river, but every place resonates with history for him. This was supposed to be a picnic. You're not supposed to be with me. That's what Keiko Matsui-san says.
I don't fit into Matsui-san's idea of who I should be.
Painting on canvas is bigger than your apartment. Who else paints in this country?
Painters?
The language teachers who dream of painting.
Language in their art.
Your English scares me.
You don't have an American accent when you speak Japanese. You freak me out.
And you freak me out that you know how to say you freak me out, Ken.
Kenji.
Does it feel like some sort of act of American imperialism for me to call you Ken? A former nickname given to you by an American girlfriend?
Teresa from Silver Lake. Some women can sleep with a man for 6 years, then dump him on the internet. America is a free country.
It's a cultural thing.
Will you look?
I want to look at them. I do. Maybe I will the day before I leave, because if they're really awful, how will I teach my class?
You can't live in Hiroshima and act like you don't live in Hiroshima. I can't see you any longer.
Are you threatening me? You're very complicated.
For a Japanese?
The war ended. It was a good thing. You have to look at who's feeding you your information.
I could say the same thing about you.
Siding with Hitler, a country could do better.
I used to scratch my father's keloid scars. You know, the skin raises up and...
I've seen them.
Since you've been here?
I just figured that Asian people scarred more easily.
No. My father's arms would itch, so I would scratch them for hours. His arms itched his whole life.
Yeah.
And we figured the liver cancer was from the bomb, too.
Yeah.
And they were worried about me, and I'm fine, you know?
Yeah.
And there was the black rain from the radiation.
We can talk about Pearl Harbor, the Bataan Death March. Your side committed atrocious acts.
No, I just want you to look.
You want me to feel guilty about things that I had nothing to do with? Your ex-girlfriend? The bomb?
An American should know about the American bombs.
Your dad was 7 and he got hurt, and that makes me feel awful. I hope for a more committed relationship than I tell Kenji. Because history stands like a boulder in between us.
If not now, when?
Kenji asks me to gaze into the mushroom cloud. Did the bomb save 1 million American soldiers' lives by preventing a ground war in Japan? I question my assumptions.
Boys, if you ever pray, pray for me now. I don't know whether you guys ever had a load of hay fall on you, but when they told me yesterday what had happened.
That's President Harry Truman after he learned that President Roosevelt had died. When he inherited the presidency, Truman also inherited the atom bomb.
We have discovered the most terrible bomb in the history of the world.
The scientist Robert Oppenheimer.
When it went off, in that New Mexico dawn, we thought of Alfred Nobel and his hope his vain hope that dynamite would put an end to wars.
This weapon is to be used against Japan between now and August 10. I have told Secretary of War Stimson to use it so that military objectives and soldiers and sailors are the target, not women and children.
I looked to see where they warned the Japanese. I looked for the part where we dropped leaflets. No leaflets. Supposition number 1. American prisoners of war would have been brought to the intended target for slaughter. We do not warn the Japanese.
16 hours ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima. It is an atomic bomb. It is a harnessing of the basic power of the universe. Let there be no mistake. If they do not now submit to our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen before.
We were hideously uncomfortable about being associated with such slaughter.
I have no right to kiss Kenji. I have no right to receive his love. Kenji speaks the language of ghosts.
The randomness of what happened never escaped us. I was standing here, so I lived. He was standing there, so he died. Her kimono had a dark pattern, so she will wear it on her skin forever. Skin hung from their arms as they walk like condemned souls in a Buddhist hell realm. Arms outstretched, flesh hung from bones.
Has anyone seen my sister? She's wandering around without her skin.
Has anyone seen my skin? It was hanging off me like tattered clothes. I must have lost somewhere down by the river.